Hey there, viewers! A Transformers fan or Charlie Young back again with another Transformers review. And today's review is going to be on Age of the Primes, Wrecking Doom Collection, Sandstorm, and Slugslinger. Now, this is mainly just going to be about Slugslinger because for Sandstorm, he is very nearly identical to the Legacy figure, but we will touch upon him. But yeah, this is pretty much the last of the currents, because they could do more, I'm not sure, but this is the last of the 2-packs of the Wrecking Doom collection. And honestly, I feel this one's the most underwhelming, because, yeah, we have a reissue of Titans Return figure that was pretty hard to find, but then we have a Legacy figure that came out just last year, which, okay. But anyway, looking at the box. So of course we've got the standard, I guess, Wrecking Doom packaging. So of course we've got the two fighting. And you may have noticed something about Sandstorm. This release actually has a face. Because of course in Legacy he had the toy-inspired face. Well, here he's got the cartoon face, which is pretty cool. But anyway, of course, 19 steps to the buggy mode, 32 steps to helicopter mode, whereas with Slugslinger it's only 10 steps to jet mode. But of course, Autobot Sandstorm, none of this G1 Universe Triple Changer nonsense, and Slugslinger. I've got the logos right there. This side we've got a picture of Sandstorm. This side we've got a picture of Slugslinger. The top is the same with that versus thing like they're in Street Fighter. The back is pretty cool because of course we got pictures of the figures so we can see the new faced Sandstorm. Got Slugslinger here. And we've got Caliburs because of course this is the Times Return Slugslinger. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the box. And we're bringing in the figures. Well, as I said earlier, Sandstorm is pretty much Legacy United Sandstorm, just with some very minor tweaks. Whereas with Slugslinger, he's Times Return Slugslinger with a new paint job. So, what I'm going to do here is very quickly talk about Sandstorm here, because he is very, very, like, slightly changed. Like, there were more differences than, there were more similarities than differences. Like, for example, one new thing is, he's now got a record symbol in the helicopter mode, which is pretty cool. And that's the only difference in helicopter mode. The rest is all the same. So, honestly, I feel like it would be better to just watch my Legacy United Sandstorm review than to go over all this again. So, yeah, that's why I'm just quickly touching upon Sandstorm. So, yeah. Of course, Protors can spin. We do have the accessories, which gives us our next difference. Because, of course, in Legacy, we do have this tiny gun here in gray. Well, now it's in black. And we can just plug these onto the shoulders here. So we got that going on. Plus we got the cage. And yeah, you can see that all the gray plastic is now black. So that's another difference. But this is pretty much the exact same as the Legacy one. You have this little string that you can pull out and wind in. If I can do that, there we go. And there is a little port under here, if you can see that. This does peg into. If we can actually line this up. There we go. So it can kind of be a rescue helicopter. If you want that, there you go. So yeah. And this is a bitch to try and get out. So yeah, that is really tight to get out. But yeah, that's pretty much the cage accessory. There we go. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the helicopter mode. I would compare it with the Legacy one, but it's nearly identical. The only differences are new record symbol and the gray plastic is now black. So, pretty much a waste of time. And if anything, it's probably a waste of time to go over the transformation as well, because, once again, exact same as the Legacy version. So, let's quickly get them into the Doom Buggy mode. So, just going to fold up the rotors. Try and get this folded up. There we go. One thing I always forget to do is this little bit right here. This also folds up. There we go. So this all folds up. Or it's spin around again, and all this pushes in. There we go. Just turn the entire thing around. Just going to quickly untab what's going to be the arms. These side bits open up. Rotate these around. These bits fold up. The head. Well, the entire head section is going to fold back. There we go. Well, these sections are just going to tab into here. There we go. So we've got the back wheels. So that's pretty much the back done. We'll also have to split the tail fin. So we've got this little flare for the Doom Buggy, I guess. Get the front windshield out. There we go. Take these front wheels. Well, these panels are just going to fold down. The front wheels are just going to tab into here. So if I can just rotate these. So they go in. There we go. These panels will move out. Move all this. And the windshield's going to tab into here. Come on. There we go. These shorter sections are just going to move down, so these can tab into here. And we're nearly done, because now we have to take the cage, take this little bit off, and that tabs into there. Separate the plating here from the cage, and that's going to tab in right under this section. So I can get this tabbed in. There we go. And the cage itself just goes in right here. And here we have the Doom Buggy mode. And if the helicopter mode had very little differences, this is straight up identical to the Legacy version. Like, I can't see any differences aside from the differences in the black and gray plastic. So, yeah. But just like the Legacy version, we do have the rubber wheels, so you can roll really well. So, yeah, there's that. And we can plug in the guns. So one plugs right on top. And the other one just plugs under here. If I can find it. There we go. And of course it keeps coming undone. There we go. But yeah, that's pretty much Sandstorm and Doom Buggy mode. And not really much else to say because it's near identical to Legacy United Sandstorm. So, how about we quickly move on to Slugslinger? Because this is what I was excited for. Because honestly, I've been having more fun with the Times Return redecos in these 2 packs. I mean, it's crazy that they're still supporting Titan Masters after all these years. It's nearly been 10 years. So, yeah. Now, as we can see, this version of Slugslinger is quite a dark blue, almost bordering on black. But I'm pretty sure that it's meant to be dark blue, and that's because this is meant to be how he appears in Season 4 of the Transformers series. So, yeah, this is meant to be his cartoon appearance, not the Rebirth Season 4 of G1. Why he's such a dark blue there, I have no idea, but I mean, it's cool that we got a cartoon accurate appearance. I much prefer the lighter blue that the Times Return version was, but oh well. But anyway, we still got like the same details. So we got the twin nose cones. Got these little. We do have these little cockpits here, but they don't open, but they do sort of wiggle a wee bit. The actual cockpit is right here. So you'd open this. There we go. And you put Calibus right in there. Can kind of see it's way too dark to see in there, but that's where Calibus goes. The wings, we have some detailing here, and I think this is tampographed on. In this wing, we got a Decepticon symbol. The other wing, we actually have a Mayhem symbol, which is pretty cool. The back, we got some thrusters. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, unfortunately, I don't think he has landing gear, which is kind of crappy, but oh well. But yeah, I do wish he had landing gear. Like one that flipped out right here, or if there was like some landing gear that flipped out under here. I don't know. Probably something I'm missing because I'm stupid, but as far as I'm aware, he has no landing gear. But anyway, let's talk about his accessories. The most important one being Caliburst, his Titan Master partner. Now, you could also get the Siege one, so he's got his Target Master as well, but like obviously, well, this guy is needed because he forms the head, or I can swap it off at any other Titan Master, but he's got the same dark blue, which is pretty cool. And the helmet shape is pretty cool. Kind of reminds me of Megatron, like Marvel Megatron, to be honest, with the colors. So, yeah. And it's typical Titan Master affair. Like, arms move, legs are connected, but they can kick forward. They can go backwards, like so he can sit. And the little head can move. So, yeah, typical Titan Master. And to fit him in here, we're just going to try and lift up the cockpit, which is pretty like hard to do. Like you can't get your fingernail. You can't get your fingernail in there. You have to lift it up and then try and wedge your fingernail in there. But anyway, we're just going to have him sitting. There we go. We can close it up, and now he's piloting Slugslinger. And next up, we got these two guns, and these can just plug in right under the wings. So, yeah. Now, obviously, this is before blast effects, so you can't Can't plug anything in them, but still, I like how these guns look. And obviously, we can have a Titan Master sitting in them, but I'll show that in robot mode. And yeah, overall, I really like Slugslinger. Like, he's really cool looking. And that's pretty much all I've got to say about the vehicle modes. Overall, Slugslinger is definitely the better out of the two, in my opinion. Like, maybe instead of Sandstorm, we got a different wrecker, like, I don't know, Thunderclash, which that would probably have to set be 200 quid, so maybe if we had, like, a reissue of the Siege Hotshot, maybe. Or, I'm just trying to think, Rack and Ruin, based on the Cyberverse versions. That would have been cool. I don't know. Maybe just have a deluxe versus deluxe like the other two, because this is a leader versus a deluxe, making this like 85 quid. And half of it is a slight retool of a figure I already own. So, but anyway, let's move on to the transformations. So let's start this off with Sandstorm. And of course, it's the same transformation that the Legacy version has, so no need to go over anything special here. So we just take all of this off. Reassemble the cage. Try and get this plate off. Oh. So just try and get this all assembled again. Okay, there we go. So yeah, just reassemble the cage. And the transformation from Dune Buggy mode to robot mode is quite simple, actually. So we're just going to close this back up. Get the arms untabbed from here and just tab them back into the chest. Untab all this and spin it around so we get the head back out. Untab the chest from the legs and just rotate this up. And it does have a bit of an issue, which we'll get to soon, but fold these little panels back up. Open the arm up. Here we go. And we'll do the same for the other. We'll just do the same for the other arm. There we go. So that's both arms. Next, we're just going to pull both legs out. Like, you don't accordion them out, you just yank them out. So there's that. Get the feet out. Then get the heels out. Split the legs. Try and straighten everything out. And yeah, that Sandstorm transformed. Now, Slugslinger, I think, has the more fun transformation. But it's probably just because I've not had this mold before. Like, I have it as Trigger Happy, but I've not had it as Slugslinger. So we're just going to take the guns off. Get Caliburst out. There we go. And now we can get started. So just going to lift up the wings. So we can get the arms untabbed. You can see that little bit there that tabs into there. So untab the arms. The legs is going to entirely flip out. Get the feet out. There we go. the double nose cones is going to untab and just become a backpack like so. It's going to move the legs forward, and then this ass section is just going to collapse in like so. Let's put the legs, hands come out, and the shoulder tabs in. So that's him nearly transformed. So what we need now is to get Caliburst, fold him up, and finally head on. So here we have Slugslinger in robot mode. And with both figures, well, let's just start off with Sandstorm, because once again, he is very nearly identical to Legacy Sandstorm. Like, seriously, just look at this. Really, the only difference that I can see, not counting the head, is the hands are now black instead of gray. Oh, I forgot to fold this up as well. But I feel like the main selling point for this Sandstorm is the head. As you can see, as I mentioned with the box earlier, he's now got a cartoon head, because this is what he had in the show. Compared it with Legacy Sandstorm, where he had a battle mask out of the toy. Now, me personally, I feel like the battle mask fits the records a bit better. And now we can have the two together so you can see just how identical these two are. Like, seriously. The only difference is the gray plastic is now black. The sigil in the helicopter mode. And the bloody head. Hasbro, you should have just had this be a select or something. Because, dude, this is just, like, I think this looks cool over the new head, but honestly, I don't think this is worth, like, putting in a 2-pack for a new figure to just, yeah. Like, if you don't have Sandstorm, then yeah, it's a perfectly fine figure, but I don't think the new head is worth it, to be honest, because I think the battle mask looks cooler. So, yeah. Anyway, giving him all the stuff. Of course, we've got the little tiny gun, which goes in his forearm, like so. The big gun, obviously. And just before we give him the cage, do you remember the big issue with Sandstorm? The chest wouldn't really tab in. Here, it's not been fixed. So this still flops about, which, why wouldn't they fix that? If they had at least fixed that issue, I'd be more forgiving, but they just haven't fixed it, so. But anyway, let's just give them the cage. Oh. Damn it. So, yeah. He can still hold the cage if he needs to rescue someone, I guess. But he also has the guns. And, yeah, once again, look at this. It's pretty much the exact same as Legacy Sandstorm, so. It's even got the same articulation, so. Head can move, if I can get it to move. Yep, head can move. Arms can move, although the chest is, I guess, in the way of that because it can come undone. It can T-pose. The elbows can move. Bicep rotation. Wrists Can sort of rotate, waist swivel. He can kick forward. He's got knees. Can do the splits, ankle pivot. And the feet are pretty good. So, yeah, same as the legacy figure. So, let's just stop talking about him and talk about Slugslinger, because I feel this guy is a bit more interesting. Because obviously, we also have had Slugslinger before in Titans Return, but compared to Sandstorm, they have drastically changed the deco. Plus, well, with Slugslinger, he was basically, what, tail end of Titans Return, so he was a pretty hard figure to find. So, compared to Sandstorm, I don't see a lot of people having this guy, and this guy can go for quite a bit online, like the original figure I'm meaning. So, this one I can understand, compared to if they had just, like, chucked, I don't know, Skull Smasher in there or something. So, yeah. Plus, I quite like Slugslinger. I think I'm just biased because it's the Trigger Happy mold, and I freaking loved Trigger Happy. So, yeah. But anyway, looking at this guy. Well, of course, as I said, it's cartoon colored, so it's a quite dark blue. We do have the two cockpits there in the back. We've got, like, these weird things here on this chest. I'm not sure what they are. They're not colored in. I think the Legends version is, though, but the head, again, I think looks really cool. And we don't have the we don't have the Target Master, but we do have these two guns, which these can be hold a couple ways, like separate guns, for example. So you can do that. Or what I prefer, I can get this gun out. There we go. So you just combine these guns together. Yep, there we go. There's a port there that just goes into. And now you've got this huge gun. Plus, we've got these little bits here. So if you want, you can plug in the Titan Master there. So you can have a Titan Master sit there if you want, which is pretty cool. So there's that. So that is pretty cool. And yeah, with this being a Times Return figure, the articulation isn't really as great as what we have now, but I still think it's pretty good. Like, head is typical Time Master where it can just look side to side. Arms can rotate, although wings do get in the way, so be wary of that. It does have that kind of shoulder. So, yeah, there's that. It's got elbows about that far. Bicep rotation. Hands can go in if you want them to. Waist, he actually does have a waist rotation. Especially because I think that's left over from Trigger Happy, because I think Trigger Happy did turn his waist for the transformation, but Slugslinger doesn't, so it's just a cool leftover from that. Splits, he can do that. He can kick forward, he can kick backwards. Wings can go in and out for whatever you just want. Pretty good knee. So if you want a good flying pose, then there you go. Feet can move, but of course, this is before Siege, so there's no ankle pivot, but oh well. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to say. Like, compared to Sandstorm, I think they did a pretty good job of Slugslinger. Like, yeah, it's just a more cartoon-accurate redeco of this Times Return figure compared to, like, Carnivac, for example, but I still think that this is pretty cool. Like, come on, which would you prefer? A barely changed redeco of a figure from a year ago, or a cool figure from like what, nearly 8-9 years ago? Well, this is like 10 other times for 10, so 8 years ago. I'm picking Slugslinger. So yeah, my complaints are like the complaints with Sandstorm are still the same, along with the fact that I just feel that this could have been like a separate like store exclusive release. I don't know. This feels like Studio Series Calvatron to me, which actually I do have that figure, which I'm going to be reviewing it another day, but But yeah, it feels like what they've been doing with like Studio Series Galvatron or Springer or the Perceptor with the cassettes, where it's the one you actually want because he didn't have the battle mask in the show. This is the show like accurate version, but honestly, I preferred the one with the battle mask. Really, this should have been someone else. Like, for example, Hot Shots. You know, outlawed the IDW 2 comics with him. I don't know. Any other wrecker, to be honest. Like Wrecker Ruin or something. Because the others were deluxes versus deluxes. This is a leader versus a deluxe. So, yeah. Sandstorm just gonna bring it down for me. But my complaints with Slugslinger. Honestly, I just wish that the color scheme was more. I love the Rebirth. Like, instead of the Rebirth color scheme, maybe give him the Toy Accurate color scheme again. But that's just me. But do I recommend this set? Well, that's actually a hard one because I absolutely love Slugslinger, but Sandstorm does bring it down. So I would say if you can find Slugslinger by himself, then sure. But if you do get the set and you don't have Sandstorm, he's perfectly fine. But if you have this and you do have Sandstorm, I don't know, maybe like sell them, find some other use for him. Because I would say get this for Slugslinger, or just get Slugslinger by himself. Because Sandstorm does bring this like 2-pack down for me. But yeah. Well, that's pretty much all I've got to say about this. So, this has been the Age of the Prime Sandstorm vs. Slugslinger 2-pack. And this is a Transformers fan signing off.